on, man. Come on, man. Come on, get up there. Get up there. You'll like it more. You'll like it more than drooling on my toes. So just be right there. You're safe under a blanket. Nothing's going to happen to you. Hello, everyone. The monkey butt is currently in panic attack mode because it's storming outside. Through this window, there's not too much breeze going on. The taller trees I can see through this window are just like, rah! And I'm getting lots of warnings about trees down and electrical power lines, and the power keeps flickering and the internet keeps going out. So I do not know how long I will be able. Dang it. There we go. Monkey. Rah. That work? Sort of. All right. I don't know how long I'll be on. I might just blink out of existence, but we'll see. Big news today. You know, Trump's still rattling those sabers about Venezuela. There was almost a crash today between a plane flying out of Venezuela and a B-52, I believe, because, you know, no air traffic control. Donald Trump wrote a pretty pissy little response to Rob Reiner and his wife being murdered by their son, basically being like, Trump derangement syndrome, he deserved it, man. So, like, yeah. I mean, people were bent out of shape about pointing out that Charlie Kirk was a piece of crap. I mean, objectively, he was. He advocated that women weren't human beings worthy of rights, that black people weren't human beings worthy of rights. He started huge campaigns to try and get professors fired or murdered by his followers for, you know, teaching facts in colleges and things like that. He spent his entire life, adult life, trying to make society worse for everyone, but great for a white guy like him. And Rob Reiner, on the other hand, produced art that brought joy to people's lives. He spent his time not making films, trying to improve society and make life better for everyone. What he left behind is an actual legacy of kindness and humor and good works. So yeah, there's a big difference between those two folks. When Donald Trump dies, when he dies, there's going to be the biggest party the world's ever seen. They'll be dancing in the streets in almost every nation in the world. People will be celebrating here and abroad. It's going to be an epic, it's probably gonna be like an orgy. Just go downtown, just people making out. It'll be party time, USA. So I guess we got that to look forward to at this point. Okay. I don't really know where else I'm going with this today, monkey. My internet kept going in and out all day, and this thing is like currently shivering like crazy under the blanket. So I got reading in, and then the internet go out, and then I got reading in, and then the internet would go out. So I guess we'll just hit the ye old button here, and we'll do that one.
Houston, we have a problem.
Okay. So yeah, we're basically going to have 45 to 50 mile an hour winds from here on out through Thursday with gusts 70 and higher. So this little blob right here, who I think she's just vibrating, just absolutely humming right now. She's going to be beside herself, and then eventually will pass out from the anxiety and the stress. So I don't know if she'll even eat treats. I saw a monkey treat thing go by. I don't know if she'll eat them. when she starts panic attack, she won't eat treats. She hates road trips. She hates being in the car. And when you go to Oregon, you weren't allowed to pump your own gas. A gas attendant would have to do it. And they'd always give her a piece of beef jerky. She'd be like, no, I can't. Because he's a little baby. So, anywho, Benjamin says, you Ooh, and Kelly Reed says second. Kelly Reed says, happy birthday, HW. Man, Donald gave a real heartfelt condolence to Rob Reiner. I think he has Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah. Chris Taylor. Hey, Houston. Did you see the news that NASDAQ will be extending their trading hours? I want Bitcoin to only trade for a few hours a day. I want stocks to only trade for a few hours. Let people get rest. Let them sleep. Right? This whole like moving everything to 24 hours and it's awful. Just let people get some rest, man. Let them sleep, let them eat, let them enjoy their families, make it so they don't have to like stare at their phones all day long in case, there's a big dip or a big rise, and just let them chill out. I hate it. I hate AI. I hate this. I hate everything. Kelly Reed says, UK looking to prepare for war with Russia. I think everyone is preparing for war with Russia at this point, except for Russia. Who has been losing entire battalions. They lost a whole bunch of their airborne guys. They all disappeared. They lost a submarine today. Yeah, they lost a submarine to a nation that doesn't have a navy. So they lost their flagship, their submarine. They can't get an aircraft carrier going at all. And when they do, it burns too much oil and they can't afford it. So, yeah. Cameron says monkey treat. We can try. I will try to see if she wants a treat. Oh, you responded. Does that mean you want it? Are you panicking too much? Oh, she still wants it. Okay, we're good. So she's not panicking too much that she won't eat a treat. Okay, I'm back up there with you. I don't know where the fat cat is. He's sleeping somewhere. Another one. There you go. Yeah. Nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom. Okay. Julius says Trump's talking today about reclassifying cannabis has pumpers going bonkers. Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks ago they're talking about, continuing its tier 1 or whatever it is. Now they want to move it to tier 3, so it's just like a controlled substance, and yeah, we've been getting this for years now. Just and then nothing happens, and they just milk the stock for as long as they can, apparently. But we'll see if it actually happens. Wax Candles, second stream. Basat Baban's second fifth. Polestar, I'll ask my ass off. Trump classifies fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. Tell me how the Iraq war got started again. What's crazy is that fentanyl does not come from Venezuela. It doesn't. It comes from China and usually comes through either our ports or through Mexico. So, like, we're going to go blow up Venezuela for a drug that they're not smuggling anywhere. And that's going to be our excuse to take their oil and gold, basically, right? Hey, monkey, it's a piece right there. See that guy? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When a dog's panicking, they look so happy. They're just like panting away. Look at her. She's so happy. She's like full on having an existential crisis right now. Just, my heart rate's at 1 million beats a second. Top of Mountain, second intro? I hope not. Aaron Sounding Houston, there is ticker CHR. I'm waiting for it to be shorted to a penny to load up 2,000 shares for $20. And if the stock gets shorted under a penny, I took out the risk, because on Robinhood you can sell each share for a penny, even under a penny. Sell each share, I guess. I don't know what CHR is. I don't know. I get a lot of these. I just don't pay attention to all this shit. CHR. Cheer Holdings. It is at 3.8 cents right now. What's it done over the last year? It's been as high as $2, almost $3. And as low as it is now. Well, it got down to fractions of a penny the other day, it looks like. Nope, down 2 cents the other day. What even is CHR Holdings? They got a NASDAQ delisting notice 24 days ago. Non-compliance with listing rules. They announced a $15 million registered direct offering at a couple of cents. That means they're going to dilute like crazy. I have no idea who they are, but good luck. Best of luck to you on that one. J-Dog. Green River levee broke. Tukwila flash flood warning. Some evacuate to higher ground. Stay strong out there. Thankfully, I'm not anywhere near Tukwila. And thankfully, it's just a tiny little breach in what is the levee / bicycle trail. And there's water flowing through it, but it's not like yet. But it's good idea to keep everybody out just in case it goes bonkers. And it's a good thing that Tukwila doesn't have many residents. Tukwila is a really weird... I will show you Tukwila. One sec. Tukwila is kind of a weird anomaly in the United States. Oh, here. There's Epstein Island. I was looking at that because apparently Epstein owned this big island here too. Great St. James. He had some sort of lab on here. I was trying to see all the buildings. But he owned both these islands, and they only ever talk about the little one. What is this one? Is that anything? It's got like a little pond. Dog Island. Huh. Okay. Anyway, let's leave the Virgin Islands here. And we're gonna fly. We're gonna go all the way to Tukwila, Washington. Because Tukwila is a weird city. It is statistically the most violent city in America. People are like, what? Yeah, Tukwila. Here's Tukwila. So Tukwila is this, and basically this giant shopping mall. So it's these houses in this giant shopping mall, an industrial area, industrial park, and stuff like that. So there's about 7,000 residents total in Tukwila. But because of the giant shopping mall and because of all the industrial businesses and factories and whatnot here, there's like 250,000 people who come in to work every day or go shopping in Tukwila. And so they have like more cops per capita than pretty much any city because all these people come in during the day and they work and get drunk and party and shoplift and do all that stuff. So Tukwila, even though it's just like this little residential neighborhood in this gigantic, huge shopping mall / warehouse, factory, industrial area. So if you look at the per capita crime compared to the residents, it looks like the most insanely violent place on planet Earth. But really, it's like the visitors. It's not really the people that live there. The crime is not happening where people live. The crime is happening down here. Anyway, this is the Green River. The Green River later becomes the Duwamish River, so it keeps going. It becomes the Duwamish over here, then floods out into Elliott Bay by Seattle. So Duwamish there, Green River here. And right now it's along the levee here is a cycle path. And there's some floodgates and for streams and whatnot. But it's like broken through some of the spots here, and they're worried that it's just going to flood this entire valley of the industrial area. So they can tell everybody, hey, evacuate. But there really isn't many people. It's like parking lots and businesses. So just, close off the businesses and you're good to go. So I'm not sure about the residential area. It is like little hills here. So hopefully the residential homes are okay and they don't have to worry about anything. But yeah, those are busting. And Snoqualmie Falls is flowing like crazy. So Snoqualmie River is once again going nuts out here by Fall City. Got Snoqualmie Falls there. Here's the Snoqualmie Falls. It's flowing at like 68,000 cubic feet a minute, and it's going to be jumping to like 78,000 cubic feet. So that's roaring. And it's not supposed to be as high as last week, but still pretty high. And with the fact that we've got, gusts in excess of 70 miles an hour happening, and everything is just absolutely soaked in here. Lots of trees are going down. We didn't get that much rain on our side because we had the rain shadow last week, because the storms are coming from due west, which caused a rain shadow over Seattle and Bainbridge, where I am. But now everything's coming from the south. So this stuff is roaring up from the south. So so the rain shadow is going to go where it normally goes, which is like Sequim, Port Townsend up here. And we're expecting, I think by tomorrow, 3 inches of rain where I am. And with that kind of wind, that's enough to just start knocking down trees all over the place, especially if the wind's going for 3 more days. So, anywho, Dig Dug Doink. How come it seems like when the Pacific Northwest gets wind, events in at night? You got me, man. I mean, basically in the wintertime, it's like always night. I mean, it's 3:46 in the afternoon, and it's going to be dark in 20 minutes out there. So we have 70 hours less daylight than we do in the summertime. So it's just dark all the time. There's way more nighttime than there is daytime. So when we get windstorms, it's always night. So, and the clouds are thick enough in those storms, and it just never gets really light outside to begin with. Brandon Wells, sup? Did you read UCopy's DD on BBY? I don't really read UCopy. UCopy seems like a really nice guy. Genuine. I think he's a genuine person. I think he firmly believes in everything that he produces. He just has the worst batting average in the entire world, and I really hope that one of these days he gets to be right. I do. I don't have that high batting average, but my God, he bats 0. So I don't really read UCopy's anything at this point. He's a really nice guy, but he's just swinging and whiffing all over the place. I mean, pitches being thrown, he's like striking out. J-Dog, Highway 167 still effed by Emerald Downs. Yeah, so Highway 167 is basically the highway that goes down the entire Kent Valley here, all the way down to Auburn. And it's closed for like 6 miles through here because it's just flooded. So yeah, sorry, this is 167 here. Just absolutely flooded and underwater for 6 miles along all these rivers here, and that's what happens. It's storming Norman. The King Ding Dong casting spells and chanting for you. Thank you. System 4 BTC keeps getting lower. At what price do MSTR go under? Also, I bought GME Friday puts. That means MOAS by Friday. I think it's below 76,000. It's like 3/4 of MicroStrategy's Bitcoin was purchased above that price, and it's leveraged too. A lot of it. So they took out loans to buy it, and if it goes under that, so Rose Moon. Hi, Houston. Hope you're well. I am well. I hope you're well. And Aaron Salentine, what is going on with OGC? Why did it go from $19 share to 19 cents? Then it ran to 436, short back down 19 cents 2 days. What does that company do? I don't know what OGC is. OGC. Advanced Geospatial Standards? Nope. OGC stock? Oceana Gold Corp. So they're a gold company of some kind. No, this is a different company. It's at $38 right now. So I think that's a different OGC. I don't see an OGC that went to 19, then 19, then 430, and then 19 again. Oceana Gold Corp. No, I don't see that. All I see is a steady climb from $11 a year ago to almost $40 today. So I have to give me a different OGC than that. Ranger Stewart, Houston, do you think any countries are gonna back Venezuela if we launch troops on the ground? Physically, no. Cuba will be like, best of luck. And Russia will be like, best of luck. And China will be like, best of luck. But I think they see that it will get that Venezuela will get overrun really quickly. Maduro will be out, and that'll be it. It'll be that. Maduro being out is a good thing. Trump being in charge is a bad thing. So, hopefully, the powers that be, when they give all sorts of control back to the U.S. oil companies, that the U.S. oil companies don't just like shut out all the Venezuelans and they keep them employed and get them money and do those things. But I don't have much hope. Do you? Do you have much hope? No, you're just drooling and panting. You don't have care in the world except, oh my God, your cheeks are so wet. Yeah. So, Polestar, they're not preparing for war versus Russia, preparing for war versus Russia West, USA. Sadly, we are becoming a member of the axis of evil at this point. A BB brand, rivers don't belong in the sky. I know, the atmospheric river has been a monster. What's crazy is that the snow level like flies really high during atmospheric rivers because it come from the South Pacific. Here's the fat guy. He's here. Look at you. Welcome. But this one, to the tail end of it, will still have a buttload of moisture, and it's going to draw down cold air out of the Fraser River Valley and essentially the Arctic, and the snow level is going to drop precipitously, and then like 60 inches of snowfall is supposed to fall over the weekend up in the mountains. Last week, the top of Mount Rainier, because snow level is like 8,000 feet, top of Mount Rainier got 150 inches of snow in like 3 days. It's insane, right, Kitty? Yeah. Polestar, Trump will taco with weed. It's all pump on the stocks to crash them. Yep. You brand this tiny St. James. J-Dog, Tuckwilla has iFly. Super fun. Is that the like skydiving jet thing? I have friends that have gone there. I've never done it myself. I assume it probably costs like $1 billion to play around in that thing. Might as well jump out of a real plane. Judas Miami, after Ford's announcement today, how long before federal bailout? Yeah, Ford wrote down $19 billion in their electric car research development production, and they're no longer going to be producing the electric F-150. My guess is that this is just the first. You'll start to see it from GM and Stellantis and a lot of other companies because Trump got rid of the tax credits for electric vehicles. And, being able to incentivize those electric vehicles and get people to purchase them was keeping the industry modernizing and up with everything. And, even Tesla is sucking. Like Tesla's sales are way down in the US. They're down like 40% globally. They're only expected to sell 320,000 cars this year, or in 2026, which is down by like 1 million cars, and post $2 billion in losses. So this basically, we're killing U.S. ingenuity, research, development, manufacturing, all the while getting rid of like smog standards on cars. So that we're just going to be wasting more gasoline and polluting the environment at the same time. And that's what we do, right, Kitty? Right, buddy? Yeah. Yeah. But federal bailout? I don't know if Trump and his treasury and everyone else is smart enough to know that they'll need to bail out American industry. I don't think they even have the competence, the bureaucratic competence of, as shitty administration as the Bush administration was, or definitely Obama's administration, where, hey, they bailed out GM and Chrysler and then they made a profit off of it and saved 5-10 million jobs in the process. Instead, these jobs are just going to vanish, and that's going to be it. So, First Day Productions, the joke here is that if a kid gets pedo groped, you've been trumped. Kids laugh their ass off with that one, and they're in 6th grade and know about Trump. Yep. Says it before, Elon is taking SpaceX public next year. Are you buying in or waiting for Blue Origin? I'm waiting for Blue Origin. I don't want to own SpaceX. I want to own Blue Origin. MSQD6PC. Trump is trash, but so is Metaverse. Lol. Yeah. Dragon. Targaryen. Hey, Houston. Thanks for giving me hope for GME by talking about the fact the January options chain are kind of lit. They are. So that's one thing to keep in mind. First Day Productions, what kind of snow falls on the mountaintops of Venus? I don't think any. Maybe sulfuric acid snow, somewhere around there. I have someone from Colorado calling me. Nope, I'll just ignore you. I mean, you get to a certain point, I think it's like hundreds of miles above the surface, where it's actually like temperate. and there's no sulfuric acid in the air. And there's like, designs. Buckminster Fuller made designs for them for these like neutrally buoyant cities that could float in the atmosphere, upper atmosphere of Venus. But below that is just like high pressure and sulfuric acid and death. But it's like a balmy 75 degrees, and you're just kind of floating in the clouds. And, I like the idea. I don't think it will ever happen, but it's neat to think about. Frozen Productions also says, I love Yucapi's determination. Yeah. Oh, OCG, says Aaron. Not OGC. OCG. Oriental Culture Holding Limited. It kind of seems like a racist name. Oriental Culture Holding Limited free fall after $200 million at the money filing. So they're dumping $200 million of stock, and that's 14 hours ago. So let's see here. Let's look at this chart, shall we? Got to get rid of the Google Earth. Gotta turn on the Chrome. Bing, bing, bing. Okay, so it was 32 cents earlier today, and then it finished and it bottomed out after hours at 16 cents. Let's see the 5-day chart. Okay, we had a spike at $20 or $18. Damn. 1 month. Huge. That's the huge spike. Went up there. Okay. 6 months. Okay. Going down. Huge spike. Drop. And then year to date, we were at $5 there. 1 year, 5 year. We've been as high as 60. But it seems that Oriental Culture stock rebounds after 89% crash as company files $200 million at the money offering. So they rebounded, they filed an offering, and then it just collapsed again. That's insane. I don't even know what they do. What do they hold? Do they hold the East? Hong Kong-based provider of collectibles and Market Watch. Don't care. Why did you? Where's my news? Where's my news? There, Market Watch. Provider of collectibles. Providing collectibles and artwork e-commerce services through its subsidiaries, the firm facilitates trading by individual customers of all kinds of collectibles, artwork, and certain commodities on its online platform owned by its subsidiary in Hong Kong, namely the China International Assets and Equity of Artworks Exchange Limited. It provides services including investor education, market information, customer support, and technology infrastructure. The company was founded in March 2018 and is headquartered in Hong Kong. Yeah, I don't trust those Hong Kong stocks, man. But they're selling $200 million worth, so there must be a lot of artwork going through there to justify that. Yeah. Yogi 2012. Do you see PSA acquired Beckett? Oh, shit. There goes Beckett. If you ever traded sports cards, Beckett was like the pricing catalog and news information on the sports card industry. Classic, I think all my Beckett's are upstairs from my childhood. Ken Griffey Jr. on the cover of Beckett and whatnot. Yeah. Well, PSA sucks. And Beckett was Beckett was mostly decent, except for they had one of those terrible, if you got their online guide, it would automatically renew with no way to unsubscribe. So you had to like get rid of your credit card number for them to fail to keep subscribing. But at least their prices were honest and their grading services were flat rate and honest. PSA is going to turn them into a garbage grading service, that's for sure. We do a brand. Venus is acidic and frozen solid or melting hot rock. What kind of snow is it? Aaron Sounding. That's the OCG. Scott Pollen. Why so warm in the mountains and cold in the Midwest? Atmospheric rivers, I guess, is the only answer to that one. Is pulling all sorts of moisture straight off the Southern Pacific, dumping it across the mountain. Like there's like flooding going on in Montana from the storms we had last week. But then the cold air is getting sucked out of the North Pole because the jet stream does these like wild hooky doos. So I don't know. MSQD 6PC, hi H. If we can nuke power, why not data center? Also, they should have to clean and use brown water. They should be required to have cooling towers that like recaptures the water, lets it condense and come back down again, rather than just letting it just evaporate into nothing and then disappear forever. That's why that town was getting poisoned with nitrates, is because they took this nitrate rich farm runoff, then they aerosolized it in the cooling process of these chips, and then all that nitrate went into the atmosphere and gave everyone all sorts of like tumors and shit. Um, so yeah. To get nuclear power up and running is a decades long process. So you can have a little reactor for your submarine, and it will create extra energy that won't be needed and whatnot. But and it'll last a very long time without outgassing and need for surfacing and stuff. But creating a nuclear reactor and building one for those subs still takes like a decade. Getting a nuclear reactor up and running in the United States is like 10 to 20 years from permitting to actually getting there. So yeah, you can do that. It's just that all those data centers that are built now that don't have electricity for them still won't have electricity for 10 to 20 years out. And by then the data centers will be completely obsolete and they'll need a whole new host of chips. It's insane to me that they're actually building these data centers, putting the chips inside of them, and then not hooking up to the grid because the energy doesn't exist. I don't know what type of math is going on, but the construction boom for it, those guys are making a fortune. The owners of those data centers are going to lose a fortune. So hopefully they skimmed enough off the top. But I'm just going to bulldoze lush farmland, employ nobody, and then there's going to be these giant ghost structures that people will go climbing through on YouTube videos 20 years from now. You're like, look at this. All these Dell server racks. This is insane. So yeah. Hazel Allen. Shoot, Hazel Allen, where'd you go? There you are. Hi, Houston. I just started hearing of atmospheric river recently. Is this a new term they have recently made up? It sounds worse than just normal rain, global warming. Atmospheric rivers are a normal thing. So let's see if I can pull up a good image of... So, all right, here's some jet streams. Okay, so like, all right, there we go. Come on. Okay, so why are you moving around? Why are you moving around so much? Okay, so this is normal jet stream. So you have these bands of wind that just fly across the planet. And there's usually a couple of them. There's a tropical jet stream, and then there's the polar jet stream. And this jet stream largely is in the North Pacific, North Atlantic, and it's because there's so much descending cold air that comes down on top of. To make people happy, I need to go zoom. There we go. All right. There's so much cold descending air that comes down on top of the poles that the wind wants to go out and doesn't want to come in. So it makes this ring. And so when people talk like about polar vortex and stuff, it's when this jet stream drops really low all of a sudden and it just sucks all this cold air down from the northern climes. And then you have your tropical jet stream, which rides high around like the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. And this is largely because the 30-degree latitudes are another spot for descending air. So the sun warms up the equator. There's not many jet streams in the equator. The equator is very doldrums. The sun warms up the air. That air rises. It eventually cools and has to go somewhere. So it usually goes out to the 30-degree latitudes and then descends as high pressure systems. That's why you find desert climes all at 30-degree latitudes all over the world, north and south. So your big deserts, your Mojave, Sonora, your Gobi, your Sahara, Arabian deserts. Those are all at 30-degree latitudes. And then in the south, in the southern hemisphere, you have your Kalahari, your Australian outback, your Atacama deserts. And when these get broken up and do weird things, what can happen is this tropical jet stream fractures and comes up north, taking really, really, really moist tropical water and just brings it slamming into the northern climes. So normally we get storm system after storm system coming out of like the Gulf of Alaska, North Atlantic, and they're in the wintertime they're pretty big and they're hitting the coast every couple of days, but they're temperate and cold. So they're like, our weather will be like 45 and raining. But when this jet stream breaks north, it brings a steady storm. These storms will go from Hawaii all the way to Seattle. That's how long they'll be. They'll be thousands and thousands of miles long, and just come for days and days and days. And they're really warm. So on the leeward side of the Cascade Mountains last week, places like Wenatchee were 70 degrees with winds at like 100 miles an hour. And on this side, it was like 50s and just dumping rain like crazy because it's tropical rain, and it's not this normal like temperate drizzle. It is just driving heavy tropical rains, and we get them usually about this time of year, end of November, beginning of December. Is when this tropical stream here breaks and it comes up north and blasts us, and then like you have your El Nino years. What happens in El Nino years is that this jet stream, the northern jet stream, rather than hitting the Pacific Northwest and like lower Alaska and Vancouver, drops down and just pounds California. So like in 1998, when California had like all sorts of flooding and huge storms and that big El Nino, that's because the jet stream was missing us. So we had like clear skies and no snow, and it was awful. And California got hit like crazy. And that has a lot to do with like ocean temperatures and where the currents go, where the storms get created. It's really hard to figure out exactly how the climate's going to do, other than just looking at like, okay, off the coast of Peru, we have unusually warm water. So that means it's going to be El Nino. That means this jet stream is going to drop. We don't quite know why, but that's what happens. And then California gets hit. And then when this water gets cold, we know the jet stream is going to slam into Washington and Oregon and southern British Columbia, and we're going to get tons of snow in the mountains and lots of rain and stuff like that. But for the most part, that's what we're getting right now. When people talk about atmospheric river and Pineapple Express, it's this jet stream breaking off and then going way north, further north than it should, and bringing lots of warm air and lots of warm water. So yeah, wink, wink, wink. There we go. All right. And where'd you go? Oh, I lost you again. Hazel. There you are, Hazel. Rosie Brush, I can't remember if it snows nickel or lead. Oh, I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to that. Oh, that's why the cat was yelling. He's going to go do his poop. He likes to scream and yell at me before he poops. And he's going to be done. He's going to scream and yell at me when he's done. Beer brand electric cars have lost the plot. They're putting $8,000 front pump bumpers and $12,000 video screens at the front end. The dash, they've saturated the market of people that can burn once. That they can burn once. There should be a market for a cheap and easy electric car. You know, crumple zone, enough batteries for 300-mile distance, light, no anything fancy. Just throw a Kenwood tape deck in there and go. You don't need all the fancy screens. You don't need all the cameras. You don't need all the bells and whistles and AI assistants and all that stuff. Just put my foot down, car goes, stops when I need it, charge up once a week, that type of thing. And I think these car companies are really missing the plot in the fact that like you can only find pickup trucks for $100,000. You know, it's interesting if you watch like the videos or like the least selling cars in America, and they'll show you, you know, how many days, weeks, or months of inventory they have. And there's cars like the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. It's, you know, it's like a Jeep version of a Suburban, and it's $105,000, and they've sold like 500 of them in the entire country. And there's a 1.5 year supply of the 2025s because no one wants them. Like, I can go get a Jeep Wagoneer, which is a terrible piece of shit. It's got all these luxury bells and whistles, but the build quality is terrible. You know, more problems per mile than pretty much any car built, and it costs more than just getting a tried and true Suburban with an LS engine in it. People are going to buy the Suburban. They're not going to buy the Grand Wagoneer. If the Grand Wagoneer was better than a Suburban, then sell at the same price as Suburban. But yeah, the car companies have really, really lost the plot as to what people can afford and what they're willing to buy. So the used car market is still bonkers because people can't afford a new car, so they're going to go for the used cars. And even if used car prices are going up, it's still cheaper than buying a new car. And the quality of cars, especially like 1997 through 2015 or so, is really, really high. I mean, just imagine in 1999 buying a 20-year-old car. That car was a piece of shit, absolute falling apart, paint fading, whatever. You go out and you can buy a 20-year-old car now that feels like a brand new car. And it's not so much electronics in it that they're failing constantly. So you can drive it around. You got quality as long as you maintain the oil and tires and brakes. You're gonna be good to go for another 150,000 miles or so. But cars now have so much electronic gimmickry that like there are times you can't leave your driveway because your Ford F-150 is updating its operating system. It's like, wait, I know you're late for work, but I'm finishing this download. No. Stop it. Big Three and everyone else. I don't need to be connected to the internet to drive my car, or I shouldn't be. I just need to get to the grocery store. I need to get to the ferry terminal. I need to get to work. I need to get to school. I've got somewhere I gotta be. I can't wait for this stupid thing to finish its update and install and whatever else. And so I think there's a market out there for someone who can provide dependability and no bells and whistles. That's it. Like, and a lot of companies that started out as dependability, no bells and whistles, have adopted all the bells and whistles and are not as expensive as shit, and now they're competing with everyone else in a market that's already saturated. Like, give me a dependable car that I can listen to the radio as I'm driving. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. Just turn on NPR and drive and get to where I need to go. That just, there's just so many screens and buttons and alarms and, tracking software and OnStar, and I fucking hate it. I'm becoming more and more of a Luddite as I get older. I used to think technology is really cool, and I was like, leave me alone. Yeah. Oh, let me change that guy. Okay. First Productions live chat or top chat, all mine getting skipped. I think I see all of yours. I'm in live chat. Did I miss things? I think I got all of yours for State Productions. Passing Cloud for ditching the EV for plug-in hybrid, though. Good thing in my book. Plug-in hybrids are great. I think they're better than just hybrids you don't plug in. My sister has a Chrysler Pacifica she got, 5-6 years ago. And she puts like 1 tank of gas a year in it. Seems like a little bit higher build quality than current Chryslers, but it was pretty inexpensive compared to others. And she gets, I think, 40 miles per charge, but she does like, where she works at her college is like 10 miles away. So that's not big. And then the kids takes them to like basketball practice or ballet or whatever. Then maybe she'll do 40 miles in a day. But then she just plugs it back in when she gets into her garage. And seriously, the only time I think she uses gas is during the summer when they go camping. They do like out 300 miles to go camping. They got to like put gas in the car. But otherwise, the gas engine never turns on. So if you're doing that kind of driving, that's awesome. Because then it gives you opportunity. You can do your road trips and do that stuff. But then also you don't have to worry about having to get gas weekly and whatnot. You just plug it in. And if you got solar panels and shit like that, then you're not paying anything. Right, buddy? Right. BB Brand, that spike looks like someone bailing out and draining all liquidity before a ship finally sinks. I'm talking about OGC. Yeah. Passing Cloud. BB Brand, have you ever looked at Slate Truck? It's the opposite of what you describe and a good step forward. Slate is okay. It's it's these little trucks. They got little electric motors. The range is really small though. The range is only like 120 miles, which I think is a little too small. Like getting from here to the closest kind of big shopping center, I will use up the entire battery. So if I have to make multiple stops in that day, I might not be able to get home on a single charge. So it's 120-mile range is way too small. I like the fact there's no frills, but also its payload sucks as a pickup truck. So you have like a 200-pound payload, which is like an adult, and that's about it. So like there needs to be something in between, like something that works because it's got the suspension and the frame, and something that can also get you the distance you need to do like a weekend project or whatever without having to like plug in every time you go somewhere. That part is kind of annoying. So Slate's baby steps on the way there. And it's also another Bezos investment. So Bezos is in Rivian and he's in Slate as well. And they look kind of cool. That's also good for him. Few brands answering about the Slate truck, passing cloud. Yeah, you'll dig that project then. J-Dog, don't want another 3 Mile Island, Fukushima, Chernobyl, etc. There are dangers to nuclear power, that's for sure. I do think that we've come enough way that we know how to mitigate for all those things now. That we've had those accidents for the last 60 years. And I think we can do a pretty solid job with nuclear power without having to worry about, Hanford, Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, Fukushima, etc. But then again, they'll figure out some way to fuck it up, won't they? Passing cloud. I agree with the generative AI statements, but the take on data centers makes me twitch. General AI statements? Which take on data centers makes you twitch? Be more explicit. I don't know what you're talking about. J-Dog, Elma still has unfinished reactors, cooling towers, etc. Yeah, Sat's up out on the way to the coast. You can go play around in those big old cooling towers they never finished. They also like turned it into an industrial park, which is kind of cool. B2 Brand, I heard from the major providers of power in my state that AI centers are requesting a doubling of their power generation to meet their forecasted needs. Bruh. Yeah, Texas produces 83 gigawatts of energy, and they've already promised 240 gigawatts of energy that doesn't exist to data centers that are being built. This is insane. Like the only thing you're going to be able to do is you're going to literally have to go to the moon and start mining helium-3 and get these fusion reactors up and running, because there's not enough power generation on planet Earth to sustain these data centers. There just isn't. And all they're using these data centers for is AI slop bullshit anyways. It's like, you ever heard about the Romans invented the internal combustion engine? Like they had an engine that was like chugga 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 chugga, and they didn't see it as a tool. They saw it as a toy. So you take this little engine, you put a big wheel on one side, a little wheel on the other, and it would go chugga 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 and drive itself in a circle. And maybe it was a steam engine. I can't remember which. And then like children were like, yay! It'd be like devoting all the resources of the Roman Empire to making those offset little things go in circles. That is what we're doing with AI, is that there are things we can do with it that's a tool, and that's being done to some extent. But all this AI infrastructure is being used for is like, Grok, is that true? Duh. Can you make a picture of Elon Musk sucking my dick? Like, that's all it's used for. And ChatGPT is coming out with their adult ChatGPT soon, so that you can be as disgusting as you want with a robot. And what they're going to use it for is to blackmail you. That's it. Sam Altman is going to use it as a mass blackmailing scheme, so that if you ever, come into power, come into money, come into fame or whatever, he'll be like, hey, you're going to do what I want, or else I'm going to reveal all the disgusting shit you told my robots. And that's what it's going to be used for. And that's our future. And that's why we're building all these data centers, so they can collect as much disgusting blackmail material on every single person who in existence, so they can control them and make them do whatever they want. And Makes sense to me. That's where the money's going to be. Problem is that like their forecasts are for every single solitary one of the 8+ billion people on Earth is going to be willing to pay $5 to $20 a month to use their AI. And what they're finding is that no one wants it. No one wants Cortana. No one wants Bard. No one wants any of these AI assistants. Get them off my phone. Get them off my computer. Just get the fuck away from me. I can do all this myself without all this crap. And they're like, oh, so like Microsoft CEO is like, why don't people want AI? And now they're downgrading their forecast big time because they're realizing that nobody wants it. It's bloatware that's annoying. And please, can I just get on, do my work, and get off? And the people who like love it and are just like, oh, I'm doing AI all the time. I'm just spend all my time generating things on ChatGPT and Grok and whatever. Those are the most annoying people on Earth, and no one wants to hang out with them anyway. So that's why I spend all their time with the AI, because that's their only friend. And I got shit to do. I don't want to hang out with AI. I want to go see people and do things with them, right? I want to pet my animals. I don't want AI animal. I want this fat turd right here who doesn't listen to me. That's what I want. And that panic machine right down there who's still shaking like a leaf because it's windy outside. I like the flaws in the people and the animals, not in the stupid robots. But here, what are you doing, weirdo? Quit bonking my stuff around. Just lay down. There you go. Okay. I lost my spot again. A passing cloud, B2B brand also consider the EU data has to be processed with GPUs in EU, while US data can be processed in US, North Virginia mostly, so real AI companies actually need 2 times the GPUs. Yep. Need lots of them. B2B brand, I'm sure it's what they want. Do you think they will actually do it? I don't know. Passing cloud, since availability is limited, companies prepay for 1 year of access in each data center regardless if they'll use it at 100% or not. B2B brand says, I think only Oracle is going to make it out of this mess and not collapse. Oracle is like $70 billion leveraged right now. So if those data centers don't get used because they're not hooked up to electricity, Ellison and company might be in some deep doo-doo as a result of that. So, Passive Cloud says NVIDIA will be fine. Their moat in AI also applies to all matrix math because they have a patent on the physical best way to do that math. I think there comes a point where their Enron scheme does them in. Like, as a fundamental business, yes, they would be fine. But they move beyond their fundamental business into lending monies to companies. So those companies will buy chips from them and then use those chips as collateral to borrow more money to buy more chips, to use that as collateral to borrow more money to buy chips, to use that as collateral to buy more money to buy chips. And what's happening is that we're having a shortage of practical consumer use electronics that's now going into warehouses and data centers to never be used because there's no electricity for it. And then those chip values start degrading over time because NVIDIA comes out with the next generation, right? And so if you 3 years ago borrowed $1 billion to buy chips to use as collateral to borrow another $1 billion, and those chips are worth pennies on the dollar 3-4 years later, and they never got used, and you're gonna get liquidated, and then NVIDIA is never gonna get that $1 billion back, right? And the other lenders are gonna never get that $1 billion back. It just becomes this like downward spiral of Enron funding. So I don't know. I think they're all kind of doomed at this point. They're such an incestuous, over leveraged funding of each other that once the chips start appearing, like I should say cracks start appearing because we have computer chips. Once the cracks start appearing, it's just gonna all poof. You know, OpenAI is going to lose $200 billion over the next couple of years and have no viable way to make a profit. What will happen is the Chinese will keep coming out with things like DeepSeek that use a fraction of the chips and a fraction of the power and gets better results, and then they're going to own everybody. Daniel Crocker, 9520, driving without a backup camera has definitely cost me more in repairs. Having a backup camera on a big truck is very handy. Having a backup camera on a little commuter car, like, you should be able to see everything at that point. But even then, like, backup cameras, you can go buy a stereo off of Amazon that comes with a backup camera and it'll cost you like $100. So it shouldn't need to be like a $5,000 upgrade on a car. They're so cheap now. Passing cloud. Like there's not a more efficient shape to the silicon for said math, which includes all statistics. I'm not sure where that's going, but Fred Jones. Houston. So Houston did not really watch your Sunday show, but heard that you have a new job and it pays pretty good. So how is it working? The Ryan... Fred, I don't know where that went. But yes, I have a new job-ish. So executive sales consultant. I've never been a sales bro, so we'll see how it goes. But if it goes all right, then yeah, I should make some pretty good money off of it. I only have to do it maybe a day or two a week. Yeah, we'll see. It will result in me doing probably fewer shows on average a week until at least I get everything figured out. But should be okay. Just Mammy, Enron Cisco super chats. Enron Cisco from 2000 equals NVIDIA. Yep. And there's like the also rans like Palantir. Palantir is like $300 million in sales, but it's worth $300 billion, right? Just insane valuations for some of these companies for the fact that like the growth isn't there and the revenues aren't there and they never will be to justify the huge prices of their stock. It's bonkers. Beauty Brand says, stop all the downloading on my computer. Pork chop sandwiches. What? And the radio is extra on a slate. That's true. People talking about Jake 2B's 12 days of BBY DD. Ron Rose, Hilux Champ stripped down work truck. I'll take it. Indestructible. Yuki 2012, lol, the Pulitzer Prize Board is demanding real Donald Trump turn over his psychiatric and medical records and discovery as part of his lawsuit against the board. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Alex Bishop, SSD prices increased 270%. I am so glad I bought this computer last year. Like, this computer it's got 1 terabyte of SSD. I put another terabyte SSD in there, and I have an 8 terabyte regular spinning disk hard drive, 64 gigs of RAM, and a 4070 NVIDIA card. And it cost me $900 Black Friday sale last year. Just the RAM alone costs more than this computer at this point. The SSD drives I bought for $100 are now like $300, and the price going up. Micron and Samsung have said they'll stop. They're going to stop making SSD drives, or at least making consumer ones, I guess, because they got such huge contracts from these AI data centers that are going up. It's bonkers. They're going to go back to like 4 gigabyte phones, whereas this phone is 5 years old. Got a 256 gig SD card and a 256 gig solid state inside this phone. It's 5 years old. And then go back to 4 gigabyte phones. Your laptops are going to come back to 4 and 8 gigabytes, which, you know, my computer I had in college in 2003 was 8 gigabytes. I think I jumped it to 16. So, you know, we're going to have the processing power because these data centers, and everyone wants to make AI slop all the time. These data centers are going to reduce our collective computing power as a society back to like levels of 15 and 20 years ago. Also, people can make, you know, AI slop videos to hopefully make them money off of TikTok or whatever. And we are in the dumbest of times. We're in the stupidest of times. Michael Harrow, Houston. Are the Unabomber and Luigi Mangione similar, or do you think Ted K is a terrorist? I think Luigi Mangione literally saved lives, or whoever killed the United Healthcare CEO guy literally saved lives. Like, there were people who were being denied coverage at that time who would have died, who United Healthcare was like, give them their coverage, and they lived as a result. So he literally saved lives. Ted Kaczynski, he was a Luddite on a level that I am not. Like, I'm okay with technology. I like to use technology to keep in contact with folks. I like to use technology to play my games. I like to use technology, in passing and whatnot. He didn't like anything. Like, there's technology that's like overburdensome and it makes your life harder and it's like intrusive and invasive, and that's the type of technology we don't need. Ted didn't like any technology whatsoever and was just, vaporizing folks who were curious and like doing engineering and inventions and stuff. And so I think Ted was kind of in the wrong on that platform. If he had focused more on the folks who want to like tear down our privacy and hamper our freedoms, then maybe he would have been better in that regard. But he was a Luddite complaining about the wrong things, in my opinion. He should have waited a little while longer. Then you have some real things to complain about. Passing Cloud talking about the SSDs. Yeah. Beer Brand, we've been nuking Bing and Cortana and Siri and all that other stuff off our phones and computers for years. The expansion to phones kept it alive. Yeah, Roomba is going to get parted out. Rest in peace, little vacuums. You started this mess. Yeah, and iRobot was basically vaporized by short hedge funds, destroying it from the inside. So it's another example of Wall Street fucking up, because now the Chinese own all the IP and it's all theirs now. So the Chinese came in and scooped it all up out of bankruptcy. So good job, Wall Street. You're just making America less secure one day at a time. Passing Clouds just waiting for the Roomba data breach. Because they have all your homes mapped. They know exactly what your homes look like, every single one of you. Michael Harrow, Houston. Have you ever put Pop Rock candy in your mouth and drank a soda with them still in your mouth? Sounds like a New Year's thing to try out. Sadly, I have done that. I've felt the sensation of the exploding mouth. And I never had the balls to try the exploding stomach, where you swallow them and then drink Coca-Cola and then you blow up. So I didn't really do that. Beer Brand, also the SSD prices, memory, and all that crap. I'm not happy at all. Understood. Jeez, Mammy, off to see the Dolphins freeze and lose tonight. As long as the Dolphins do nothing but run game, then we're good to go, right? Oh crap, it's time for me to go. You folks have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. I think Wednesday and Friday I won't see you at all. I've got new job stuff I got to do both those days. So I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you Thursday. And if anything, I can maybe make up for it in evening shows. We'll find out. Have yourselves a great day. And it's dark outside. So bam.